So I've been using the Insta360 Ace Pro 2 Ultimate Videography Bundle for a while now, and I need to be honest with you guys. This camera completely reset my expectations of what an action camera could be, because there were multiple moments, real shooting moments, where I reached out for this instead of my mirrorless camera. That's huge. And that is something I did not see coming. But here's the question that stayed on my mind the entire time I was testing this camera. Is 8-bit actually enough for serious filmmaking? Not for YouTube specs, not on paper, in the real world. After client style shoots, unpredictable environments, and days where you just need to get to stay out of your way, the question stopped being whether this is a good action camera. The real question became, can a camera this small genuinely earn a place in my kit? Let's talk about it. I call this the ultimate all-in-one 8K AI-powered action camera, but truthfully, it doesn't feel like a traditional action camera at all. And I explain why, because very quickly, this stopped behaving like a backup camera and started feeling like a creative tool. You got a 1/1.3-inch sensor, 8K up to 30 frames per second, 4K 60 HDR, solid low light performance with pure video, really good audio, strong stabilization, a flip screen. That's the flip screen, and it's waterproof down to 12 meters or 39 feet. On top of that, you've got Leica color presets baked into this camera, which I'll reference throughout this video so you can see how they affect the image. But the real question for me was simple. Where does this camera fit into my actual workflow? And more importantly, can it sit alongside something like the Lumix S12 without feeling like a compromise? Now, before we go deeper, if you enjoy real-world gear breakdowns from a filmmaker's perspective, make sure you're subscribed. I've got more reviews coming that are focused on helping you spend your money wisely. And I've left links in the description to the Ultimate Videography Bundle if you want to check real pricing or see everything that comes with it. All right, let's get into what really changed my mind about this camera. At first glance, the Ace Pro 2 feels like your typical action camera. You can hold it to film with, chest mount it, helmet mount it, swim with it, and treat it like you would any other action camera. But the moment you attach the Explorer grip, everything changes. 1 second. This is the accessory that transforms the Ace Pro 2 from a typical action camera into something that feels closer to a compact filmmaking tool. The grip known as the Explorer grip gives you a proper shutter button. And yes, Insta360 includes a second shutter button in the box, which I'm genuinely thankful for because it's very easy to misplace. I misplaced mine for the first day out, and I'm very careful with the spare one. Even if you lose it, the camera still works, but it's nowhere near as nice to operate without it. Right where your finger naturally sits, you also got a zoom rocker button so you can smoothly punch in from 1 to 2 times without tapping the screen. There's also a controller that you can customize to adjust things like shutter speed, exposure compensation, ISO, white balance, or even switching shooting modes and the Leica profiles. This is the point where it stopped feeling like an action camera to me. It started feeling more intentional. The Explorer grip also includes a 3.5mm mic input, which means you can plug in a third-party wireless mic if you want. Now, that said, the onboard microphone of this action camera are actually good enough for most scenarios, especially for scratch audio or quick run and gun movement. You also get a cold shoe mount on top of the grip for mounting a receiver, and the grip itself houses a 2010 mAh battery, which gives you up to 4 extra hours of use. Amazing. That alone makes this bundle worth considering. All right, so I have the Insta360 Ace Pro 2 at arm's length with a standard lens on. Mic test 1 to 3. I have the Rode Wireless Micro connected. So this is a mic test with the Rode Wireless Micro connected. The receiver on the Ace Pro 2. Now I have the Rode Wireless Micro disconnected. That's the receiver, not connected to the Ace Pro 2. So what you're hearing me is the Ace Pro 2's internal mic. What do you guys think? Mic test 1 to 3. Mic test 1 to 3. There's a USB-C port for charging the grip and a micro SD card slot right next to it, which acts as a storage for an extra card. I do wish this had been an actual expandable slot or that the camera had internal storage, because I once took this out to shoot and realized I forgot my SD card completely. That's on me, but worth mentioning. Now, one of the biggest reasons you invest in a camera like this one is access. There are plenty of places where pulling out a mirrorless camera immediately changes the vibe, or you're not just allowed to do that. And action, yeah.
You're not allowed to do photography here without a permit.
Okay, alright, cool.
But we can do it down there, right?
No, anywhere from Tower Bridge to London Bridge to Tower Bridge. On the whole estate, you can't use photography.
On the estate, okay.
Yeah, unless you apply for a permit.
In those situations, an action camera like this or maybe a mobile phone is often fine, but phones, they do overheat, they run out of storage, and aren't built for abuse. If you ever wanted to record in, say, ProRes log on an iPhone, you know it's required to connect like USB-C drive. And as professionals, recording to a USB-C is not recommended as slotting in a memory card. So this camera is durable, it's waterproof, it's designed for ultra-wide fields of view and built around stabilization and mounting flexibility. That makes it a genuinely useful everyday carry camera, not just a niche tool. If you go for the ultimate videography bundle, you get access to interchangeable lenses, including an ultra-wide 189-degree lens. At first, this lens felt strange to use, but the more I used it, the more creative it became. You can get shots with this lens that simply aren't possible with most cameras, and you do need to be mindful of your fingers creeping into the frame because it is that wide. What's important is setting the camera which lens is attached through the menu. This is something I missed early on, and it affected the image correction and focus behavior. The close-up lens deserves a special mention. It solves one of the biggest problems I've always had with action cameras, which is close focusing. If you're filming a selfie, POV, or BTS setup and trying to capture like a monitor of a camera or screen, action cameras usually struggle. You guys know that. The lens fixes that. I can now vlog or take selfies with confidence, knowing I'm actually in focus. I can even fine-tune how close the focus point is by rotating the little ring in front of the lens. I'll show a comparison here between the standard lens and the close-up lens so you can see the difference. This is an anamorphic lens that gives you a 2.35 to 1 aspect ratio, which is perfect if you like a wider, more cinematic look. When using this lens, you need to get it set correctly in the menu, remember, and once you do, you get access to Insta360's iLog profile. Well, I hardly use that, but there are some limitations though. You can't shoot 8K, you can't change the aspect ratios freely, but the look you get is generally unique for an action camera. Now let's talk about the camera design and screen. One of the biggest wins for me is the flip screen. I'll open it up again. Front screens are fine, but being able to fully flip the screen out makes do with the Ace Pro 2's lack of a front screen. So you're covered for selfies and vlogging. You're also able to easily get your low angle shots and general framing, and in some cases use it for support for some really low angles. The 2.5-inch screen is rated for around 50,000 flips, which realistically means years of heavy use. It's bright too, rated around 900 nits, and there's a magnetic sun hood included if you need it. Although I personally never use it, I don't think I'll ever need to use it where I live. And very quickly, this wrist strap that I've just attached and comes in the packaging is surprisingly well made. It's secure, comfortable, and makes me more confident carrying this camera around and shooting with it. Very, very solid. Now, in a moment, I'm going to tell you exactly who this camera is not for, because that surprised me. But first, let's talk about the drawbacks. This is a great camera, but it's not perfect. The lack of internal storage is one thing I'd love to see improved. I remember taking it out and couldn't shoot with it because I forgot my micro SD card. The 50 megapixel photo mode is also quite slow because the camera has to write to the card before you can do anything else. So you would have to switch to a 12.5 megapixel photo mode, which is still useful and quicker. The shutter button, on the other hand, can come loose too easily. I already mentioned that even though a SPA 1 is included, and if you care deeply about grading, the 8-bit color depth is something you need to be aware of. And for the use of this camera, I really don't need anything with an 8-bit. I usually shoot in the normal color profile and just add it to my videos on top of my videos. Another important thing is that the Explorer grip is not waterproof, so be careful when using this in certain situations. Now, speaking of things that directly affect how we work as creators, let me take a quick second because gear isn't the only thing that shapes our output. Our workspace matters too. If you spend long hours editing like I do, you quickly realize a bad chair isn't just uncomfortable, it's utterly distracting. The Flexispot Ego X Pro is one of those pieces of gear you don't think about until your body thanks you for it. The mesh keeps you cool, the adjustability is excellent, lumbar support quietly does its job. Once dialed in, it disappears under you. Exactly what a great ergonomic chair should do. If your workspace matters to you, this is absolutely worth a look. I've left a link down below so you can check it out. One of my favorite moments using this camera was filming at a friend's father's birthday celebration. I had the Ace Pro 2 mounted on top of my Lumix S1 II as a wider second camera angle, and it worked beautifully. It didn't feel like an action camera to me, it felt like a second shooter. I even got stopped and asked, what kind of setup do you have? Which honestly says a lot. I also tested this as my main camera at the BSC Expo 2026, connected the Rode Wireless Pro receiver to the camera and the transmitters of me and the people I was interviewing.
I've reviewed most of it, like the ML series, the LA and the LE. Why this? What's the difference?
So the Palette Lab is our new series.
I also use this to capture some B-rolls. You've got 8K video, slow motion, time lapse, voice control, strong stabilization, pure video for low light, great audio, and even time code for easy multicam workflows. From a filmmaker's perspective, that's super impressive. I would definitely recommend the Ultimate Videography Bundle, which will give you all the accessories I mentioned, or you can opt for the Videography Bundle limited edition, or just buy extra ones not featured in this bundle, and they are affordable to acquire from my point of view. What more can you ask for? And I forgot to mention, the little microphone here has a wind shield in case you're recording in a windy environment. There's a foam in it, but if you're going underwater with this camera, you can take out this one and replace the other one in the box. Remember to take out the Explorer grip. If you care most about ultimate color flexibility and heavy grading, 8-bit might be a limitation for you. But if you value speed, versatility, and great results straight off the camera, the Insta360 Ace Pro 2 is incredibly compelling. It was really easy to pop it out and use it without having to rig too much and worry about stabilization and all that, especially with the Ultimate Videography Bundle. This is the first action camera I've used that genuinely feels like it belongs in my kit. Not as a replacement, but as a serious companion. So let me know your thoughts about the Insta360 Ace Pro 2. Are there features you'd like to see in an upgrade or an improved future version? If you have any questions, drop in the comments below. I've left links to where you can purchase the Insta360 Ace Pro 2 in the description below. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe if you want to see more of my stuff. It's a Filmmaker, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. God bless and peace.